It seems like yesterday when we began the season at the New Smyrna Speedway with the Mello Yello Smooth Fest, Bruno Diacomo getting that race victory, and then 29 points-paying races after that leads us to this point. It's the finale race of the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. It is one of the longest races of the season at one of the most historical racetracks on the circuit, and also one of the toughest racetracks on the circuit. It is a tight battle between two championship contenders. Blaine Keyes leads the championship by 13 points ahead of Loudovick Charette. One of those two drivers will be your champion here today. Who will it be? We will find out after 92 laps here at the Darlington Raceway. It's the Mello Yello Southern 500, the season finale of the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. Let's see who wins the championship here today for the second season of the Wawa Cup Series in one of the biggest races of the season. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Darlington Raceway here in Darlington, South Carolina. We have been waiting for this moment for many weeks. We knew this race was going to be pivotal in the championship, and lo and behold, it is going to be very crucial how this race plays out between our two championship contenders of Blaine Keyes and Loudovick Charette. Unlike last year, however, it's a very simple championship battle. Loudovick Charette needs 14 points on Blaine Keyes in this race. A tall task, especially for a track like this, but not an impossible one. And it's going to be interesting to see if she can work her way to the front and find a way around that 41 and have a shot at this Wawa Cup Series title. But Blaine Keyes starts third here today. Loudovick starts 13th. They do both start on the inside lane for this race here today, which is very crucial after what we have seen in the races leading up to this one here at the Darlington Raceway this weekend. It's going to be fascinating to see, however, how they roll through 92 laps here today. This is a crown jewel event, one of the longest races of the season. It's very difficult to win this race as well. Just ask Logan Williams last year, who is the defending race winner of this Southern 500. It's going to be a great one with 2 cycles of pit stops throughout the day as well. A lot can happen, and a lot will happen here in this Mello Yello Southern 500. I'm joined alongside Echo Evans Ross and Igor Barreto for the call of this finale race. And Echo, I'll start off with you. Your team was so close to staying in championship contention going into this race, but absolutely a devastating race for you guys at Daytona, as both Kirsten and Jack Haas fell behind the draft and just had no chance in that one. But they both start up front here today, and there are many other drivers who know this is a crown jewel event to win here. How are they going to race it with those two championship competitors, knowing that, hey, I'm not in contention anymore, but I'd love to be the last race winner of the season here in the 2024 season?
Well, you got nothing to lose at this point. Out of the championship hunt, but you can still gain some spots in the championship. Those higher positions are obviously more valuable, and the best way to do that is to go out and win the final race of the season. Jack's done a great job all season, so has Kirsten. They're both doing very good. I think that this will be a great race for them to warm up for next season, but also a great way to cap off this season if they can pull off the victory or just finish high up in the standings.
And we'll have to see how well they do finish. I think they both have a great opportunity at winning this race here today. But Igor, I'm going to move over to you. Of course, last year it was a much different situation for your team, and your driver, Drew Webb, won the championship a year ago for you guys, and this year this will be his last race for Titan Fury Racing. I know it's a bittersweet moment for you and that team, but what are you looking forward to in this race for Drew? And then, with Blaine Keyes and Loudovick Charette, how do you think they're going to battle it out on the racetrack for this championship?
Yeah, about my team, it's honestly going to be a bittersweet moment. Obviously, farewell to Drew Webb, last race for the team, got the championship last season. And honestly, like I talked to Drew in private, we are very thankful to what he's done for the team in these 2 seasons. And hopefully he can have some great season over Stewart's at Granada Sports, Stewart's team. And Sameto obviously going to stay for the team next season, going to be joined by Fitzy. And so it's going to be a preparation race for next season. But about the championship battle, obviously, Blaine Keyes and Charette, 2 drivers that have been strong this whole season. And honestly, with Keyes having the starting advantage over Charette, both are obviously starting the inside lane, which is going to help both. But with Keyes having the grid position advantage, you're obviously going to start better. And if he doesn't crash into a wall or gets caught up in the outside lane, I think Blaine Keyes has the biggest chance to win the championship today.
We're going to have to see what Blaine can do. Of course, 6 wins on the season for the Racing Motorsports driver. And this is also a bittersweet moment for Aaron Abel as well. If Blaine Keyes can win the championship, Aaron Abel gets that Drivers' Championship as an owner, but he's also losing Blaine Keyes at the end of the season, who's going to drive for Pacific Racing. So a very interesting moment for those guys. Of course, we know Loudovick Charette will be returning to Grand Autosport next year, and she would love to get her first ever Wawa Cup Series championship with her first season at that team. But it's going to be tough for her because, like I mentioned, she starts 13th in this race, 10 positions behind Blaine Keyes, and she needs to gain 14 points on Blaine in this race. You see the point standings there on your screen. It's a 13-point gap between the two drivers, so Blaine, if he finishes 8th or higher, regardless of laps led, he clinches the Wawa Cup Series championship. Of course, you get a bonus point for leading a lap and another bonus point for leading the most laps. If you win the race, it's 45 points. If you lead the most laps and win the race, it's 46. It's 39 points for second and 1 point per position going down with those bonus points in play. There's a very good chance Blaine Keyes will get a lap led, which means if he finishes 9th or higher, he will clinch the championship. But this is a long race, 92 laps in length for these drivers, and reliability issues have been an issue. Just remember Pocono with Loudovick Charette. She was running top 5 in that race when she blew an engine. If that did not happen, that championship battle would be reversed coming into this finale race. We can always look at one moment that defines the season. That may end up being the moment, but we'll have to see how this race plays out here today. We do know as well, this is the Mello Yello Southern 500. This is one of the crown jewel events of the season, the finale of the season, and all of these drivers want to go to victory lane. And last year, this race was won by a non-chaser in Logan Williams. Well, Travis Crampton won 2 weeks ago, and he starts on the pole here for this Mello Yello Southern 500. We'll have to see what he can do alongside Matthew Hubert in the number 0. There is Blaine Keyes in the 41, looking to clinch this championship here today. He starts 3rd alongside Jack Haas. Braden Perez starts to the inside of Kirsten Bell in row number 4. And then Daniel Paulus Jr. starts 9th alongside Philip Torres in row 5. Rogeldorn and Justin Zeidel, they make up row 5. I apologize there. Paulus and Torres are in row 4. And then row 5 is Dorn and Zeidel, with row 6 being Matt Tuck and Nicholas Samadio. This is Matt Tuck's last race as a driver in the Wawa Cup Series, becoming an owner next season with Team Velocitar moving their program up to the Cup Series. And there she is, Loudovick Charette starting 13th in this race here today. On the inside lane, 92 laps to get around Blaine Keyes and hope that Blaine falls back far enough where she can have an opportunity at this title. There is the rest of the starting grid as we go down. The defending Southern 500 winner of Logan Williams, a little bit deeper in the field than he would have liked for qualifying. There's Thomas Troxel in the 62, who won the truck race yesterday for your team, Echo. Sorry to spoil that, but I'm sure you're happy about that one. There's Drew Webb in the 99, last race there for Titan Fury here today, all the way down to Friday's winner in the Sprint Series, Anthony McClure, in the number 11. All the drivers are ready to go. We're about ready to take the green flag here in the Southern 500. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from the Mello Yello Southern 500 at Darlington. We'll make sure all of these drivers roll off, all 40 drivers ready to take the green flag one final time here in 2024. Echo, and then Igor. Who do you guys think's going to victory lane, and who do you think's winning the championship here today at the Darlington Raceway?
I think Matthew Hubert's done a great job all season. I think Hubert's going to get that first win today. And as for the championship, I'd love to take the pick Loudovick. I love what she's done, but I have to go with the obvious call. That's Blaine Keyes in the 41. Starts higher up. It's going to be a very tall task for the people to get by the 41, especially with that points gap.
Yeah, for me, for the win, I'm going to go for the only chaser to still not have a win. I'm going for Blaine Perez, starting in 5th position. Obviously, a great start position to start at Darlington. And for the championship, I'm going to go alongside Echo. I think Blaine Keyes will get the championship. Like she said, great starting position, ahead of Charette, has the point advantage. So I think Keyes has everything to win this title.
And Blaine Keyes is a driver who I know has been waiting for this moment for so long. He has been racing on this channel since the very first race. And next year, we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of us starting this. It is hard to believe that I've been doing this for as long as I have, but I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for all that you have given me. So much fun to be doing this, and it is bigger than it ever has been, and it's all thanks to you. Well, we're going to do it one last time in 2024 for the Wawa Cup Series. Travis Crampton and Matthew Hubert on the front row. Here we go! We're green flag racing on Labor Day weekend in the Mello Yello Southern 500. Lap 1 will be led by Travis Crampton and NS Racing. Blaine Keyes will take 2nd. Matthew Hubert will slide in 3rd. Blaine Perez, Daniel Paulus Jr. the top 5. And here's Loudovick Charette trying to work her way through this field to close in on Blaine Keyes. So she has a mathematical opportunity at this course. She has a mathematical opportunity going into this race, but I tell you, it is going to be very difficult, especially if Blaine runs a perfect race like he has, and so many of them all season long. Right behind Travis Crampton right now, but no need to be aggressive at this point. But Loudovick, she kind of has to be aggressive if she's going to have any chance right here, but she's up to 9th right now behind her teammate Matt Tuck as they start to single file out throughout the top 10 positions here at the Darlington Raceway. Up front, it's still Travis Crampton, the 98.
Keyes is really pressuring the 98. I think he wants to lead that lap. Then he'll just run a smooth race after that. You get that bonus point for leading a lap is going to be absolutely crucial here in this championship battle.
Matthew Hubert in the 0 would love to get around Blaine Keyes, and like you said, Echo, you think he's going to have a shot at winning this race. I know he thinks he's got a shot at winning this race. It's been a great season for him. He is not quite locked up the best of the rest, because Crampton is right behind him and that 38 points behind, but as they run, Matthew Hubert would be the best of the drivers who missed the chase this season, and going to Velocity Racing next season is going to be huge for him. Philip Torres getting around. Blaine Perez going to open the door for Matt Tuck and Loudovick Charette to make some moves right there. And Matt Tuck's going to have the inside going into turn 1.
Yeah, definitely Matt Tuck and Charette working together to get Charette to the front as quickly as possible, as Keyes is still pressuring Crampton. Blaine Perez, unfortunate for him, he was caught up in the outside lane, same as Avery Alford, scraping the wall through turn 1 and 2, and then it's not race over, but definitely hurts your chances way more than it should. But still, we still got over 80 laps to go in this race. Charette could still beat Keyes in this race. A lot of things can still happen.
And Philip Torres going for a spot here on Daniel Paulus Jr. That'll open up another slot there for Loudovick. So she's moving up to the field very well. Had a great run in the truck race yesterday, finishing 2nd behind Thomas Troxel. And of course, she is definitely a driver to watch out for as this race goes along. But the thing is, that 13-point gap is one of the largest we've seen throughout this entire chase. And Blaine Keyes is doing all he needs to do as he is pressuring Crampton for this race lead. Not enough of a momentum swing for him right now. Crampton's going to hold on, but barely, as that 41 clearly has some speed on this 98 machine as they're all on each other. Got to give a huge shout out to Rut Racing. They're losing both of their drivers, Bernardi Oliveira and Laura Chung driving for Joe Rutkowski's team next season. How about Matthew Hubert and Philip Torres going out in style here? Both running top 5 right now here in the Southern 500. And Matt Tuck trying to get into this top 4 as he's got a nose to the inside of Torres, and that's going to be another position for Loudovick Charette here as Torres going to slam that outside wall.
It's Darlington. You're going to hit the wall here. That's just how you go faster on this place, but sometimes it'll hurt you. It definitely is going to hurt that 20 a lot more, I think. And it'll probably hurt them when they come through for pit cycles because they're going to have to repair that damage. Keyes, I think, is definitely faster than Crampton right now. Just has not been able to make that move quite yet.
Oh.
It looks like he's going for it now, though.
He's got it this time to the inside of Travis Crampton for the race lead. They're going to be side by side in 3 and 4, and of course, as we have seen all weekend long with all the races here at Darlington over the weekend, turns 1 and 2, the inside lane is where you need to be, but in 3 and 4, you can get the outside lane to work if you hit your marks correctly, and that's what Crampton is trying to do. As a matter of fact, he's going to still lead the lap, but he's in a bad position going in the turn number 1 right here, and Blaine's going to drive right by him, and so will Matthew Hubert, but Hubert might actually have a shot at getting around Keyes right here, as Matt Tuck is bringing his teammate Loudovick Charette around this 98, and this 51's closing right in. Crampton, or should I say Paulus, in the outside wall hard. He's going to fall back a little bit right there, and here we go. Blaine Keyes in the 41. Will he win the title here today? The way it looks right now, it looks like he's going to drive right to it, but still 82 laps to go here at Darlington. He's got the lap lead, which means if he finishes 9th or higher here today, he wins the Wawa Cup Series title outright. But Matthew Hubert, driving for Matt Tuck's team next year. Let's get around this 41 and have a shot at this race victory. And he has a fast car, but both Matt Tuck and Loudovick Charette have done an excellent job moving through the field. And Matt Tuck's job is to get that 41 out of line so that Loudovick can get around him. And then it's all up to what Blaine Keyes does in the rest of this race.
Yeah, definitely. This point by Keyes is going to be really important. We know from last season how important 1 point can be, but also the Grand Autosport cars have been doing really well, working together. Hubert maybe trying to go to the inside, but if Keyes hits the mark, which don't look like it, Blaine Keyes is going to be stuck in the outside for turns 1 and 2.
Oh, Loudovick's got to be careful not to let Jack Haas to the inside of him, and here we go. Pass for the race lead. And Blaine's just got to be careful not to hit that outside wall at the exit. That is not the place you need to be. Oh, he scraped it a little bit. That's going to be a little bit of repair on the pit lane, and that's going to be crucial. There's 2 stops in this race here today, and you have to hit your marks on both of those stops. So that is exactly what Loudovick Charette wanted to see, but Blaine just scraped it a little bit. I don't think there's going to be enough damage, actually, where he's going to need a repair once we get to that cycle of pit stops. Matthew Hubert just got around, who may end up being the Wawa Cup Series champion right there here at Darlington. And how about Hubert? If he were to pull this one off, be a huge win going into the next season for that team. But his future owner right behind him would love to win his last ever start. But I think there may be a more important thing at Grand Autosport right now, and that's Loudovick Charette winning this Wawa Cup Series title. And these two have followed each other the entire way through, and now they're 2nd and 3rd, closing in on Hubert. And how about your team, Echo? Jack Haas and Kirsten Bell? Yeah, man, just imagine if you had that speed last week at Daytona. Both of these drivers would still be in championship contention, but a huge opportunity for you guys here at Darlington, looking to get the Southern 500 race win.
Hey, it's been a good season. Just kind of doing what we've done all season, which is just sit there and be top 5. Very consistent. Both of our drivers are very consistent drivers, so that's really helped us. But Grand Autosport, there's something else this season, so I think Hubert's doing a great job holding off both of the top teams in this series. And I think that Hubert's going to be one to reckon with next season, especially on Team Velocitar. That's going to be fun to watch.
And of course, Daniel Paulus Jr. going to be his teammate. Paulus has had a great race here today as well, running top 10 in that 24 for Trackhouse Racing. Of course, Paulus, of all the chasers, didn't have the most consistent season. Only 3 top 10s all season, but he has found himself in a lot of great spots to get himself to this point. Of course, he just got passes. He got stuck in that outside lane by both Braden Perez and Nicholas Samedeo. Of course, Samedeo came into this race last year the points leader ahead of Drew Webb, but just couldn't quite hold off the 99 in terms of the track position in last year's race. But look at this. All 5 of these guys right on each other, and Hubert's got a great car, but I feel like Tuck and Charette are much faster, and Jack Haas and Kirsten Bell also have very quick cars as well. Blaine's actually slipped back a little bit, 1.8 seconds now behind those guys. His car may not quite be as fast as these front 5 right now, but he's still well within range to clinch the title. Like I said, if he finishes 9th or better here today, he automatically clinches the title. It doesn't matter where Loudovick finishes. But if he slips back to 10th, Loudovick leads the most laps in this race, then things can get a little bit interesting. But Loudovick is yet to lead a lap. I know she'd love to get that bonus point and negate that point that Blaine Keyes just got for leading a lap earlier on. I tell you what, we're getting to the point where the tire wear is starting to really come into effect here. These lap times fall off about 2.5, 3 seconds once they get to the end of a run. About a 32, 33 lap fuel run here today, so right around the third way mark. But if this race does stay green, it will be a 2-stop race guaranteed. And it's going to be fascinating to see how the cycle of pit stops will end up shaking out, especially with the top teams running up front compared to Rut Racing right there. And what will Blaine Keyes do on his pit stop? Of course, minimal damage there, but Crampton and Barta closing in on him right here. And this 98, no, he'd love to have a shot at winning the Southern 500 if he can get around this 41 machine.
Yeah, definitely great racing from all of these guys right now, especially the top 5. They stay in line after overtaking Keyes, and he's definitely losing a lot of pace after. Pit lane. Uh-oh, but no caution. Thankfully.
It's possible that he's just repairing damage from slapping that outside wall at the exit of turn number 2. Philip Torrey's going to slip back right there. And we tend to see that tire wear and tire fall off is very significant here. And of course, with that in mind, you may get some tires to rupture on this racetrack. Just look at what Leonard Kosmer did on Friday in the Sprint Series race. Going into turn 3, just overshot it into the corner. So get the damage they have to repair it, and that's what happened to Gutierrez. Tough season for Gutierrez. He got the win at Bristol, but just could not hold on to the speed there. He will be returning to Millennium Motorsports next season. Hopefully they find something that works for him a little bit better. But missed the chase even though he had that Bristol win. Not quite the season that he was hoping for to start off his Wawa Cup Series career, but he'll be back next season with that team. And we can definitely tell right now these tires are really worn out. It is very difficult to get a run on any of these guys, and they kind of just stay in their respective lines. Of course, we've got a lot of strong drivers running inside this top 10 right now, but they're led by Matthew Hubert, who's looking for his first ever Wawa Cup Series race win here today. He's going to hold off a lot of strong drivers to get it done, but he's got a good chance of doing it here in that Zero machine.
Yeah, and with the tire wear now, it's going to be harder to pass, and you're going to see that the outside lane's going to be a lot stronger as the tires wear out, just because it's just harder to get grip on the inside lane, so it's much harder to make a pass down there.
Well, that's true in turns 3 and 4. But not in 1 and 2.
Yeah, in 3 and 4, it's definitely going to be very pronounced. You're not going to see very many passes happen there, especially once the tires were out. When they're fresh, I would say they're very good, but it's going to be hard for Tuck to make that move if Hubert's able to stay on his outside, or for any of these guys.
Travis Crampton's trying to get around Blaine Keyes. Blaine's fallen to 3.5 seconds off the race lead, so that 41 does not have the speed of the front 5. That is obvious at this point, but Crampton has not been able to get a run to the inside of him now. When we do have someone slip up and get to that outside lane in 1 and 2, when the tires are worn out, oh my goodness, it's like they blew a tire. We actually saw that in the truck race yesterday. Of course, it went caution-free yesterday, but you're going to see it here with Gutierrez. He's going to be flying through this field because he's got those fresher tires. He's going to be driving around these guys because of that. But if he gets stuck in that outside lane in 1 and 2 with worn tires, you drop like a rock. It is such a fascinating racetrack with that in mind. And I have a feeling, once we get through this cycle of pit stops, Matt Tuck, Loudovick Charette, they're going to find themselves around Matthew Hubert, and they're going to start pulling away from the Zero. This Zero is definitely a little bit slower than these guys, but they got to a point where it's so hard to pass that, you know, it's a traditional next-gen race out there. We still got a long ways left to go here in the Southern 500. Haven't even gotten to our first cycle of pit stops. As for 4th, Kirsten Bell was not waiting on her teammate anymore. And she's going to take 4th away from Jack Haas. She knew she could do that and not affect that 39 too much, with Blaine almost now 5 seconds behind. He is losing time rapidly in this 41. I'm wondering if he did get a bit of damage there. This cycle of pit stops is going to be interesting. How long will Blaine Keyes be on the pit lane, and will he fall back because of it as Loudovick looks on Matt Tuck? She's done following here, and I don't think she's actually going to be able to get the run going in the 1, but that's going to give Jack Haas a shot back at Kirsten Bell.
Yeah, definitely great racing right now. The guys are saying one close to another. Link is still falling off, but what is your team doing, Echo? I'm just curious because they now swap places, and honestly, they're fighting hard, but they could risk a win today, which honestly I believe you want for either of them. and they're doing a great job right now staying with Hubert and the Granite Sports boys, but it's a little surprising they're acting this way when they could do the Granite strategy and just work together and get through the pack to the front. And oh, here comes Charette.
Of course, to your point, Echo, that outside lane works a lot better when the tires are worn out in 3 and 4, but Matt Tuck may have just let Charette by on purpose. That may have been on purpose right there, because Tuck's going to be able to clear Jack going into 1. That was a smart move out of the Granite Autosport team, and Charette may actually have a shot at getting around Hubert before we get to the cycle of pit stops. Tires are really worn out now, but they got to get to that threshold where this becomes a 2-stop race before they come down. And Charette would love to get that race lead before that cycle begins. Right behind the 0 Matthew Hubert right here. And Blaine now 5 seconds behind, but this field has spread out quite a bit here as Angel Gutierrez continues to move his way through the field. Of course, he is multiple laps down because he came down 2 laps down for Gutierrez, but he has his fresher tires, and he's going to be on a little bit of a different strategy as this race goes along, but he's gaining a ton of time right now on everyone out there. The Loudovick Charette now up to 2nd. I know she'd love to get a lap led on this race, and this is going to be something to consider. This race does have a little bit of a green flag feel to it. If you remember the 400-miler race here back in May of 23 when Seth Cole won this, he actually overcut everybody and had fresher tires at the end of the stint to get around everybody for the race win. Do you overcut, get the advantage later in the run, or do you undercut, get the advantage earlier on to gain on everybody? That's the big question, and that is the strategy that these teams have to figure out here in the Southern 500 as Charette has a run going in the turn number 3, and she's going to try to get it here on Hubert, and I think she's going to get it on that 0 machine, and we've got a new race leader here in lap 32. It's Loudovick Charette trying to win this championship ahead of Blaine Keyes. She's going to get a lap led right there. And now we're within the window to get to that first stop as well. Blaine still holds on to the championship lead for the moment, but that's a lot closer now, as you see in the corner of your screen in terms of that title race, because Charette just gained all those points for taking the lead, and she's pulling away from Hubert right now. That 51 is really quick here at the end of the stint, and now she's going to come down the pit lane. She got the lap led, and she's coming down. Matt Tuck's going to go out and lead a lap in the 54 as they stay out an extra lap. Kirsten Bell down as well. Blaine's going to stay out. Oh boy, that's interesting right there. We'll have to see. Different strategies for our 2 championship contenders. Loudovick Charette coming down as the race leader. Matt Tuck has led a lap here. And here we go for our first cycle of pit stops in this Mello Yello Southern 500.
Going to be very, very important for these guys to get a good stop. But also, I think that the undercut's going to pay off here in this stint. But I think the undercut where it will really pay off is probably in the second stint, because that's not going to be as long of a stint. If we're going 34 laps on tires and fuel, that's going to be quite a bit. That's going to be quite a bit less time for these cars to going on tires. So I think the undercut will help on the later stint. On this first one, though, I don't know how much it'll make a difference.
Well, Loudovick will win the race off of those drivers that came down. Bartow has stayed out, and he is going to get a lap led and a bonus point for that. And Blaine Keyes down in the 41 here. Let's see what his stop looks like. This is going to be very, very interesting because he hit that wall. Will he have an extended pit stop? We're going to have to see. No visible damage, but he was a bit off the pace right there in comparison to the lead pack, and he's got to be careful not to lose too many spots here on pit lane. Rogel-Dorn, of course, he had significant damage, and there's a solid stop there. It's a solid stop there for Racing Motorsports, so not enough damage to take him out of contention. But that 51 is long gone. And we'll have to see where Blaine ends up slotting in. If Loudovick takes control of this race, starts leading a bunch of laps, gets the most laps led. Of course, Blaine does have a lap led in this race. He's got to be careful not to get into San Mateo right there. That would not be good for Blaine if he took himself out of this race with Loudovick leading. Rest of the field down. Bartow led another lap right there, but Loudovick has cleared and is now the race leader officially here in the Southern 500. And she is flying out there. She's got clean air. She's got a fast car. And she's doing all she can do at this point here in this finale race. Oh, and Philip Torres in the outside wall. And he's going to lose a lot of ground. I'm not sure if he blew a tire into the corner or what. We are still green here at Darlington. Gotta watch out for him right here. So Blaine's going to fall back into 8th, so he is still holding on to this championship lead right now. But by a thread, it is tight between Blaine Keyes and Loudovick Charette in the points at the moment, with Loudovick leading this race. But Blaine, of course, if he finishes 9th or higher, he automatically clinches it. And he's got a bit of a gap there, down to 9th, and Travis Crampton. So a lot of guys going to go a lap down in that cycle. That's what happens here at Darlington. It's such a tough race to win because of that. Oh, Loudovick in the middle of a lot of mess right now. Matthew Hubert has just taken the race lead away. I don't know what happened in the 51, but she's going to follow the 3rd. Not at all what those guys wanted in Matthew Hubert. Back out front here at Darlington. Saw that in the corner of your screen.
Yeah, that was impressive. Probably Charette got caught up by lap cars, especially Fitzy and the 18. And that's probably what happened to make Hubert and Kirsten Bank caught up and pass her. But that's going to be a kick in the gut for Charette, just losing the lead like that after having such a big gap towards Hubert. And honestly, Keyes, if he receives the news right now, he knows that even though it's not mission accomplished, it definitely makes his life way easier. But still, the key position for Keyes will be that 10th place. If he doesn't be passed by that, he knows he's still in the championship hunt.
Well, Loudovick's got to be careful not to get caught up in an accident, because that would be it. If she gets caught up in an accident, that's game over for Grad Autosport right there. And they got close there, getting around Fitzwater. I don't know exactly what happened there, but you guys have seen that in the corner of your screen. So this is how they line up here. So it's now Matthew Hubert leading the field in the 0. Kirsten Bell is 2nd at the 93, going for her 3rd win of the season. Has not won since Dover. So it's going to be fascinating to see what Kirsten can do as this race goes along. Loudovick Charette is 3rd in the 51, and they're all on each other right here. Kind of a bit afraid to go away from this. I feel like we're going to get a pass for the race lead here very soon. Hubert trying to get Parton out of the way, and then Chase Buck ahead of them. I believe these two drivers are on the tail end of the lead lap, and they are 29 drivers still on the lead lap. A lap down includes Zachary Fitzwater, Rogeldorn, Brian Webb, Laura Chung, the 50 machine, driven this week by, you guys have the list, I actually don't remember. That's Bob Haywood. Bob Haywood in the 50, finished 2nd on Friday. A little bit of shuffling going on right there. Philip Torres, we saw what happened to him there. He got in the outside wall. Seth Cole, Daniel Paulus Jr., LJ Sametto, Avery Alford, and then the 82 of Jesse Turner, all a lap down to the moment. And they're all led by Matthew Hubert, who is the race leader. Kirsten Bell is 2nd. Loudovick Charette is 3rd. Matt Tuck is 4th. Solid run for him. Jack Haas is 5th. 6th place, Nicholas Samadeo. Great run for Nicholas, especially after yesterday in the truck race. Did not have a good run in that one. Braden Perez is 7th. Blaine Keyes is still in the 8th position. However, little trouble getting around Philip Torres right here has brought Travis Crampton right in the mix here for that 8th position. Of course, Blaine needs to finish 9th or higher, so he still has a cushion right there. Bruno Diacomo is 10th. Great run for Trinity River Racing's last race in the Wawa Cup Series, and Bruno Diacomo right here. Trey Bartow is 11th. Roberto Crown Jr. is 12th. Justin Zidell is 13th. Bryce Egan is 14th. Her Sprint Series champion, Juan Romero, is 15th. Drew Webb is 16th. Andrew Miller is 17th. Brad Stover is 18th. Sam Oskin, 19th. Brady Mardi Gras in 20th. Thomas Troxel is 21st. Anthony McClure is 22nd. Ace Garcia is 23rd. Bernardo Oliveira is 24th. 31 machine, that is Matt Black in 25th. And Angel Gutierrez as, oh brother, Loudovick Charette again got shuffled out of line, and she is falling back. Matt Tuck has gotten around her as they continue to battle with lap traffic up front. Matthew Hubert still holds on to the race lead. They're lapping our Southern 500 winner from last year. But Kirsten's still right in the back bumper of Hubert, and this is not good for Loudovick. She had a chance to just go out there and dominate this race, and now look at this mess ahead of her. She's got to be careful not to get herself caught up in it.
The 51 keeps getting held up by the 18 of Tanner Parton. Parton slotted out behind Charette on the pit cycle. Passed her. That's what caused the whole stack up. I think, at least. And then the 51 still can't get past the 18. And Blaine Keyes is loving that news, even though he lost a position.
Here we go.
Gotta look for the lead. But yeah, Blaine Keyes is loving the news that the 51's getting held up right now, because Keyes is running pretty much exactly where he's got to run. He's right in that spot where he'll win the championship no matter what. Even with the 51. Even with the 51 not being up front here, so that'll be interesting to see.
Is not going to be able to win the championship from this position, considering where Blaine Keyes is. But if she gets up to the race lead, then that's when things are going to really get interesting, because then Blaine cannot afford to slip back too much. Blaine did, in fact, just get around, or got passed by Travis Crampton, as Kirsten Bell just got past Matthew Huber for the race lead. Man, are we back at Daytona again? I mean, this is ridiculous here. Sam Medio's gotten around Jack Haas for 5th right there. All of our race leaders stuck in lap traffic here at Darlington. This is insane, and it's actually bringing everyone back into the battle. Crampton and Blaine Keyes closing back into the back of this pack because they just can't get around them. Kirsten Bell has almost cleared. Charette's gone up to 2nd as she gets around Matthew Hubert right here. And this right here is an accident waiting to happen. This is like the truck race at Daytona near the end of that one. They just couldn't get around the lap cars, and the guy who got past them first, which was Zachary Fitzwater, went on to win the race. And this is perfect for Blaine Keyes, who has caught right up to these guys and gained a lot of time because of it.
Yeah, Keyes is definitely loving this. It's quite impressive that the leaders are still caught up in this pack. Obviously, the first one to get out of this pack should be Kirsten Bell, but honestly, with how things are running, we could see Charette, we could see Hubert, Duck, someone else get out of this pack first, because we've been going out and it doesn't feel like Darlington. It's really weird seeing this many cars packed up. It feels more like a super speedway race than Darlington. It's really weird seeing this two-wide situation.
When Darlington was first built, they did consider it a super speedway, because at the time there was nothing quite like it. Well, I tell you, this is wild, because you got some guys I think who came in a little bit later. You got Bob Haywood there, who's got fresher tires, just darting around these guys, and they're all stuck behind Angel Gutierrez right now. Blaine Keyes in the 41 is actually now getting held up because of this. Bartow and now Roberto Crown Jr. in the 5 about to get around him. And now if Loudovick takes the race lead and Blaine Keyes finishes 11th, Loudovick's going to take the points lead. And if you're that 51 team, you got to tell her that, because Keyes is getting held up back in there, losing spots. But I tell you what, Kirsten's just riding behind Gutierrez, not trying to get around him. Charette's going to try to get around Fitzwater and have a shot at this race lead, because she needs to take this race lead if she's going to have a shot at this race win. This is ridiculous what we're seeing right here with these lap cars at Darlington of all places. Braden Perez looking to take 3rd there from Matt Tuck. Travis Crampton moving his way back through the field. And Blaine under fire from Roberto Crown Jr. running 11th right now. Not at all where he needs to be, especially if Charette takes the race lead anytime soon. And speak of the devil, there she goes to the inside. She got Fitzwater to go down, and Loudovick's going to take the race lead away from Kirsten Bell. And folks, we have ourselves a championship battle on our hands now. Blaine's down in 11th. That position's worth 30 points. Loudovick Charette, if she wins this race, 45 at the moment. It's a 1-point lead for Loudovick Charette as they currently run here at Darlington in the championship battle. Absolutely unbelievable what we're seeing. Gutierrez just came down. Remember, he's on a different cycle, and that's going to open the door for Charette. If she gets around Fitzwater, she can take control of this race. She's going to put that 61 on the outside. And here we go. The race is on for this championship now after the lap traffic got in the way of our race leaders. Blaine Keyes trying to rebound, trying to get around these drivers. Justin Zidell, his teammate, is now in 12th, and if you're unable, you're telling Justin, do not pass that 41. But right now, Blaine needs to gain a spot. Next driver in line is Bartow in 10th, and he's a little ways ahead. This could get very close and very interesting for the championship. Charette is pulling away in the 51.
Gutierrez did a really good job holding on to the lead lap. Like, if the 36 got past there, because he was on a different cycle, he was actually tail end of the lead lap when that happened. So Gutierrez had a really good strategy there to keep on the lead lap. That was very good by Gutierrez to do that. And Charette, well, she's still got a shot at taking most laps led, and Keyes does not want to hear that.
Like I said, it's 14 points that she would gain right now. She has 45 points in the position she's in, but if she leads the most laps, it's 46. Blaine Keyes led a lap. It's 30 points for the regular position and the extra point for leading the lap. So 31 right now for Blaine Keyes. That is a 1-point lead right now for Loudovick Charette as we run. I honestly did not think that we would really see Loudovick have a decent chance at this. But now she does, and Blaine Keyes struggling back in there. You got to keep in mind, the tire wear is very significant for these drivers at this point. And Gutierrez, you know, if you're Blaine Keyes, you're going to have a conversation with that 36. But then again, everyone got held up. I mean, it was really not anyone's fault, you know, in that regard. No one chose to get around the 36, and now you got Gutierrez back out there with fresher tires, driving right around all these guys. My, oh my. How about Travis Crampton? Because of that, found himself all the way up to 3rd. Matt Tuck is still 4th. Bruno Diacomo has a top 5. I know Josh would love to get a top 5 in his final race as an owner. And I know Bruno would love to give it to him. It's been a tough season for these guys. Not at all the season they had last year, but Bruno has been holding strong. He's 24th in the standings coming into this one. He would love to get his second top 5 of the season after winning the Smooth Fest earlier on in the year. And Gutierrez is flying there. Braden Perez is 6th. Jack Haas is 7th. Bartow is now 8th. Matthew Hubert is 9th. Nicholas Samedeo is 10th. And then Daniel, or should I say Blaine Keyes, is 11th. Roberto Crown Jr. is 12th. Bryce Egan, Justin Zidell, and then Drew Webb is 15th. With Andrew Miller still on the lead lap. Juan Romero still on the lead lap. Brad Stover, Thomas Troxel, Bernardo de Oliveira, Brady Mardi Gras, Samet Oskin, Anthony McClure, Ace Garcia, and then the 31 there of Matt Black. Those are the only drivers still on the lead lap. Loudovick Charette, 0.3 of a second on Kirsten Bell. And if you're Kirsten, what do you do? Do you want to kind of stay out of that championship fight, or are you going for the race win at this point?
Honestly, I think if I'm Kirsten, I have nothing to lose. I'm not caring about the championship. Just going for the race win. But honestly, I believe in the back of Kirsten's mind, she's probably thinking, yeah, I can affect the championship. I can make Charette either win or lose this title. Same for Keyes, depending on my actions. But thinking as a race driver, I believe Kirsten's thinking none of that. She's just thinking for the race win. And Charette's just going to be trying everything she can to stay up front. Obviously, just the title, not only the Summer 500 win, but especially the title by in her hands. And we can get the title by holding off Kirsten or lose it if Kirsten ends up passing her.
Blaine has kind of pulled away here from Roberto Crown Jr. and those other guys, but he is still 1 point behind Loudovick Charette as they currently run. And Loudovick is starting to get some laps led here. Will she get the most laps led? That is the big question, because we really haven't seen a dominant driver yet in this race. It was Matthew Hubert for a little bit there, but now Loudovick's starting to rack some up. I think Hubert still has the most laps led at this point, but now it's crunch time. It's the money stop coming up here in just a couple of laps for these drivers. They have to be careful not to get involved in anything on the transition on the pit lane. But they're going to be coming down here very soon as the window is open to make it to the end of this race. We have ourselves less than 30 laps to go here in the Mello Yello Southern 500 at Darlington. What a race it has been so far. The lap traffic, a huge story. We did not think that was going to be the case. But it ended up costing Blaine Keyes a couple of positions too many. And as they currently run, Loudovick Charette holds on to the championship lead.
93, Houston's just slowly been closing in on Loudovick every lap here. I think she's a little bit faster, but I also think that this championship and this race is going to come down to this final pit stop. That's going to be the most crucial point of this race.
No doubt about it. Who's going to end up first out of all this? Because you guys there at Evan Ross Racing have a good shot at overtaking this 51 on the pit lane. The big question is, will we run into lap traffic again? That was such a freak thing that we saw that jumbled these guys up. They have now spread back out again. And Blaine is clearly not as fast as he'd like to be in this race. 10 seconds off the race lead. He's just got to hope that a couple guys ahead of him have issues on the pit lane. As here we go, Blaine Perez is down. Did Loudovick come down yet? No, not yet. Braden, the first one down the pit lane right there, trying to undercut and get an advantage here. And like you said, Echo, a bit of a shorter stint to finish this one out. So he may have a bit of an advantage by undercutting here. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Loudovick in the 51 is going to come down now. And Kirsten is actually going to stay out a lap right here. So Loudovick, we'll see what she does here. Crampton, Matt Tuck, all staying out right there. Diakima, Laura Chung, Bartow in the outside wall. Oh, they got to be careful right here. That's a very similar situation to what we saw on Friday in the Sprint Series. They will avoid the 4, though. And that right there could be the saving grace for Blaine Keyes, because Bartow is absolutely going to have an extended pit stop, and Blaine can absolutely overtake him on the pit lane.
Yeah, but we have to consider that the undercut's going to be really strong this last stint. So Charette is also going to gain probably a huge advantage over Kirsten Bell. And honestly, I think Charette might have this win. It would depend mostly, I believe, in this last stint of Blaine Keyes' strategy and pace. And if Keyes can get 2 or 3 places, it's going to be enough to get this title. But it's going to depend a lot on him and how many positions he can get in this last 22 to 23 laps.
Blaine Keyes here, make sure he has a solid stop. What's wrong? What's wrong? Everyone's passing him, that 41. They may have gotten into the wall during that whole cycle, and he is still in the pit. Yep, they're repairing. No. They're repairing the right side on that thing, and that's going to hold him up. Loudovick had a clean stop, and Blaine Keyes did not. And now, it may very well end up in Charette's hands here at Darlington. Still green flag in the Southern 500. Drew Webb led a lap. Agor, I'm sure you love to see that in his final start for Titan Fury. No, it's on cycle right there. And Loudovick is going to get around Kirsten Bell, and she's out of here in that 51 machine. Oh my goodness, are we about to see this choke happen out of Blaine Keyes in Racing Motorsports? This is, oh my goodness, this is a disaster for those guys. An absolute disaster on the pit lane there for Blaine Keyes. He's going to have to hope for a restart or Charette to fall back here, because Charette now has a 5-second lead on Blaine Perez. She's out of here. Oh, and Keyes can't avoid getting caught up in an accident there with the hot seat from Grand Autosport. Blaine Keyes all the way down in 20. No, it hasn't cycled through yet. 20th for Blaine Keyes. There's still a few guys who have yet to come down. The cycle is not completed yet. Drew Webb as well has yet to come down the pit lane. And Blaine, he's a madman now. He's got to do all he can to get as many positions as he can with 20 laps to go here in the Southern 500. But Loudovick Charette is out of here in the 51. As a matter of fact, Loudovick is not too far behind Blaine on the racetrack. And at this point, it's going to take a mechanical failure out of the 51 for her to lose this race, because she's got a 5-second lead and growing on Braden Perez here at Darlington Raceway.
This one's going to come down to the wire, I think. Keyes is really moving through those cars further back, but at the same time, Loudovick's super fast. It's going to depend on how many positions Keyes can make up in this final stint, I think.
We're just going to have to see. His car has not been up to speed with some of these other guys here today. He has struggled as this race has gone along. This has not been the race we expected out of Blaine Keyes here in this Southern 500. And maybe, just maybe, it all comes down to the team and the car. And I'm not trying to put Racing Motorsports under a bus right here, but I will say this team has run very differently than some of the other championship contenders this season. And maybe that has finally bit them here today at Darlington Raceway. Of course, Blaine just got caught up with those lap cars, and that really hurt him as that cycle went along. He's got to be hoping for a caution at this point, because that's going to help bunch the field up and give him an opportunity at closing in enough on Loudovick Charette. This race is still far from over. Loudovick has to be clean here in these last few laps. And she's doing all that she can. She's about to lock up the most laps led as well, which means that Blaine would need to finish 9th or better in order to clinch this championship if Loudovick wins the race. Because she is going to give the most laps led if she gets it done here today at Darlington.
Yeah, it's crucial now. It's crunch time, and honestly, it's kind of sad for Blaine Keyes. He ran in the top 10 practically the whole race, got caught up in the lap car kerfuffle, and now he's way out of contention. He needs to gain around 15 seconds with less than 15 laps to go, and that's considering 9th place, not even considering the other guys. So except if a caution happens, it's sad to say, but it's most likely Keyes against his over.
He might have a shot here. He might have a shot at gaining some time. Guess who's blocking the field again? Angel Gutierrez. So the thing that ended up causing him to fall back initially may end up saving him here. Oh boy. Gutierrez on the outside. Well, he's going to gain a lot of time on these guys, but they're going to get around him. It's going to be so tough. It's not too many, of course. Drew Webb, the leader, that would give him up to 14th, or actually up to 13th, if he were to get around all these drivers here. And my goodness, that would make it so close for Blaine, but he's got to get around them, and there's only now 15 laps to go here in the Southern 500, and Blaine is not having a good run right now. He's got to get around as many guys as he can right here. He'll get around Oskin. That is not for position, however. Andrew Miller is for position right there. And it's going to be so hard to make that ground up as this race goes along, because the tire wear is going to start coming back into effect here. And it's such a narrow line here at the Darlington Raceway. It's going to be hard. And he's got to be careful not to let Loudovick lap him either, because if that caution comes out, well, he wants to be on the lead lap to be able to move up on the lead lap and gain more positions. But if Loudovick laps him, that seals it. What a topsy-turvy turn of events here today at the Darlington Raceway. Loudovick Charette has done everything correct in this race. Now dominating here, late in the going, Blaine Keyes has fallen back to 18th after hitting the outside wall, getting stuck in lap traffic. And he has fallen back to a point where Loudovick can cruise to victory and win this championship here today. And she is pulling away for the race lead as well. She just got behind Gutierrez, though. We know how this has been here today, but she's going to get right around him. Great move there to Loudovick Charette. Jack Haas is a lap down. Tough break for Jack there, and Trey Bartu, who had damage from getting in the outside wall earlier on. Kirsten Bell is now second, ahead of Braden Perez. Matt Tuck is fourth. Travis Crampton is fifth. Matthew Hubert is sixth. Nicholas Samadio is seventh. Bruno Diacomo is 8th, Bryce Egan is 9th, and Thomas Troxel is 10th. Then it's Roberto Crown Jr., Justin Zidell, Drew Webb, Bernardo Oliveira, Brad Stover, Juan Romero, Andrew Miller, Blaine Keyes still in 18th. I'd like to take this time, as we wind down here at the Darlington Raceway, to thank each and every one of you for such an amazing season here in the Wawa Cup Series. It's hard to believe that it was not too long ago when we started this at New Smyrna in January. But here we are, the last 10 laps of the season, about to crown a champion who we do believe at this point is going to be Loudovick Charette, the way this race is going. But it's hard to believe as well. I've been doing this for almost a decade now. Each and every one of you means so much to me. This whole project means so much to me. And only behind my family and my career, you guys mean the world to me. And I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for all the support over the years. It's going to be a big year next year. 10th anniversary race is going to be April 1st, 2025. We're excited for that, showcasing all the best drivers who have run on the channel in the 10-year history. Loudovick Charette, if she wins this championship, will be one of those, no doubt about it. But I can't thank you guys enough, especially you two, Igor and Echo, for joining me here today, for calling these races. Of course, Igor, I've known you for, oh boy, almost 7 or 8 years now. Echo, I've only known you a couple, but both of you are great friends. All of you guys are great friends. All of you guys mean so much to me. And I cannot thank you guys enough for everything that you do to make this what it is. I love it. And it's just such a blessing to be here, to still call these races for you guys. And I cannot thank you guys enough. But here we go. We're closing in on the final few laps of the season in the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. Loudovick Charette, 5.6 second lead. All she's got to do is bring it home. It's going to be tough to do so. Juan Romero up here in the double zero, little off the pace. I think Blaine's going. He's gunning for it now. He's up to 16th. Brad Stover, he's now up to 15th in that 41 machine, but this 51 is closing in as well. 7-second lead for Loudovick Charette. That's how you win a race here in the Wawa Cup Series, and Loudovick about to do so here at Darlington. Blaine, one last hope. He's got to get around up to the 10th position because Loudovick has led the most laps in this race. It is going to be a tall task. We're at the point of no return as well. If we do get a caution, we will not have a restart. So how will it all go down? Loudovick's got to be careful around the lap traffic. It's been a caution-free race up to this point. But she is in position to win this Wawa Cup Series championship with 5 laps to go here in the Mello Yello Southern 500.
Just amazing season by all drivers, and honestly, Charette, even if she got unlucky, great hit by Andrew Miller. Even if she got unlucky at times, she obviously got the pace.
Kirsten lost some ground right there. Matt Tuck up to 2nd. Wow. Now they need Loudovick to win this race if she's going to win the championship. I'm sorry, Igor. You go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, Charette definitely deserves. Blaine Keyes also deserved. Just poor luck in this last race. It's going to be a little sad for him because he's going to have won a 5th of the races of the season and still not being enough to get the title, and just going to be so close leading into the last race and then just losing by poor strategy. I believe Aaron Abel would definitely fire the crew chief of the 41 after this race, but still great season by both of them, by all drivers who got into the chase. And let's just enjoy this last laps of this 2024 season.
Loudovick Charette has a 6.3 second lead on her teammate Matt Tuck. That's not going to be a problem there. It's 2 laps to go here in the Mello Yello Southern 500. And Blaine Keyes is the last car on the lead lap, running 16th. But he needs to move all the way up to 10th if he's going to tie with Charette in the points. Charette has performed a masterful race here today at Darlington. And Blaine Keyes had the misfortune in this one, which gave the opportunity to Loudovick Charette. She came into the series last year. Her first ever start was in the Wawa Cup Series in the Mello Yello Smooth Fest a year ago as she takes the white flag here in the Mello Yello Southern 500. She did not win a race last season, but caught the attention of Stuart Cratton last year to drive this 51 in 2024, and what a combination it has been for Graham Autosport and Loudovick Charette. It's going to be her 4th win of the season, but not only will it be her 4th win of the season, it's going to clinch her the championship, and only her 2nd ever full-time season in the Wawa Cup Series. Coming out of turn number 4, Loudovick Charette has done the impossible, a 13-point gap to win the championship here in the 2024 Wawa Cup Series and win the Mello Yello Southern 500. Loudovick Charette is your 2024 Wawa Cup Series champion.
What a drive. She did everything she had to do. Just took it from Keyes. Just plain beat everybody on speed. And what a fitting way for Grattan Autosport to end the season on a 1-2. With how much they've dominated this series, I think that's the most fitting end. A championship and a 1-2 finish in the same race. Storybook ending for this team.
Wow. What a race it was. A caution-free race here today at Darlington in the Mello Yello Southern 500. But the best drivers came out, and Loudovick Charette with the advantage. I genuinely thought, last week at Daytona, when she ended up finishing where she did, falling 13 points behind. She really wasn't going to have a good shot. I thought Blaine Keyes was going to finish top 10 easily here today. He'll end up finishing 15th, and it'll only be a few points, but it's not going to be enough for Blaine Keyes, who after 6 wins on the season will finish second in the championship standings. Loudovick Charette came through, and a clutch victory for Grattan Autosport and that team, her 4th win of the season. And she is your 2024 Wawa Cup Series champion. She won the Truck Series championship last fall. She wins the Wawa Cup Series championship. But, my goodness, if you were Blaine Keyes, that has to sting so hard. You had it 13 points going into the finale race. And that last pit stop, if they didn't do the repairs, he would have gotten out further ahead, and he would have been right around that point where he needed to be. But unfortunately for him, he's going to finish 15th here today and lose the championship in the final race. The points lead switched the last 4 or 5 races between Blaine Keyes and Loudovick Charette. And it was Loudovick's turn to take it here today at Darlington, and she will take it. Your Wawa Cup Series champion. What a race. What a season. And I can hear it now from the Grattan Autosport camp. They are going to be so excited for Loudovick, and Matt Tuck finishing second here today. Igor, final thoughts on this race and this season. What a way to end it here at the Darlington Raceway.
Definitely. Darlington always provides great races. Probably the best track to have a championship finale. And honestly, it definitely an unexpected finale with all the lap car shenanigans, with Gutierrez halfway through, the Keyes pit stop, Charette and Tuck at the start, doing teamwork to get as many spots as possible. What a race it was! What a season it was to have lots of drivers winning once again. The powers, let's call it the main powers of about teams changing. New drivers rising to the top, and honestly, what an amazing season and what an amazing journey for Loudovick Charette. Winning the truck championship last season, coming from a mid team. I'm sorry to the 61 team. I forgot which team it was. Uh, to Grattan Autosports getting the title this season, and honestly, congrats to her, to Blaine Keyes as well. Great season. Sadly, it just wasn't enough. Congrats to I'm now going over my team, Drew Webb, for these 2 seasons. I already talked to him enough in private, and now since you were talking a little bit in the last few laps, Alex, I'm going to say thank you for this almost 10 years of you been doing NR. I've been here since 2017, which honestly was the worst year of my life, and I'm thankful I joined the series. Joined this universe, let's call it, and I'm thankful to be a big part of it. I'm thankful for the friends I done here, and let's go as long as we can, as long as you can, especially. And I'm going to say thank you once again for everything that you done for this channel, for this series, for all of these guys, not only competing, being team owners, but those watching, those who are friends of yours. I know you changed a lot of people. You making friends all over the world, and that's what racing in the end is all about. And I'm not gonna lie, you made me tear up a little bit in the declaration in the about 80-ish lap.
I didn't tell him to say that either, guys. Well, thank you so much, Igor. That means a lot to me, and like I said, that is ultimately why we do this. And like I said, this whole community, this whole project has changed my life so much for the better. Like I said, you guys are all some of my closest friends, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all that you've done for me. I know I do a lot for you putting all this together, but you have done so much for me as well, and being there for me. It's amazing. It absolutely is amazing that this whole community exists. It is, like I said, such a blessing to have you guys in my life, and at the end of the day, we're just having fun watching computer cars go around in circles. But you know what? I never imagined it would be to this point, and especially at this point in my life as well. Still figuring my career out, still figuring out my life out. This has been the constant in my life for the past decade, and that means so much. And Echo, I'm sure this race means a lot to you as well. A great win for everybody there at Ground Autosport. You guys had a great run. Final thoughts on this race and the 2024 season?
Reminded me a lot of the 2010 Real Life Championship. I thought it reminded me of Homestead a lot, with Keyes having the most wins, like Hamlin did, just having his problems, falling back, and Loudovick Charette, one of the dominant drivers all season, she ended up taking it home, much to the chagrin of some people, I know. But it was a great season, great debut season for our team, and I'm so glad that both of our drivers were willing to stay because they did a great job. Both Jack and Kirsten are amazing drivers, and I love having them around. And we're going to go out and we're going to do even better in 2025. And I can't thank you enough for what you do on this channel. It's so much fun to just see how many different projects you've got and how you're able to string them all together, especially with you and Caleb. It's really fun just to be, it's an honor just to be involved as a person that you want to work with. So I appreciate everything you do, and let's go and have a great 2025 as well. And a great Turkey Hill Truck Series too, because that's the whole thing right now.
Yeah, and hey, you got the win yesterday, so you got something to smile about with Troxel winning yesterday, obviously, but thank you, Echo, as well. And like she said, this community, so many different people, so many different backgrounds, so many different walks of life, but yet here we are. We're having so much fun, and we love being around each other, and that is what I love about it, is diversity of it as well. And what a season it was, with all these different drivers running up front, going to victory lane and everything, but Loudovick Charette pulls it off, and she's going to have a couple more, I feel like, in her career. That's her second championship in a rating series, and we've only pretty much done 3 of them the way we have. So she's got this thing figured out. You all are going to have to figure something out in trucks this year to keep her from winning. She finished second yesterday in the truck race, so watch out as the truck series goes along. But like I said, thank you guys so much for all that you've done for me and this whole community. Like I said, we're approaching the 10-year anniversary of the first official race on this channel, which was April 1st, 2015, and like I said, we are going to do a special race. We're going to do a special celebration for that once it comes around, and we are excited for that. Like I said, I have to thank you, Echo. I have to thank you, Igor, as well, for joining me throughout this entire season. Thanks Stuart Gratton as well for calling races. Nathan Stapleton as well. He has been a co-commentator for many of these races. Chase Harris, we had him yesterday in the booth for the truck race. We have also had a bunch of other drivers, a bunch of other owners, I should say, in the booth this season as well, and my mind is blanking on them. We've had Brennan Wilmington join these races. A huge thanks to Brennan for joining me throughout a lot of these races this season. We have had... Who else have we had? Why am I forgetting this? We've had Josh Williamson in the booth quite a bit this season as well. Great to have Josh. I know Josh is going through a lot right now. Great to have had him for the few races that we did. He's a great co-commentator. Great to have him in the community as well. We've had Stuart in the booth many times. I know I already mentioned him. I want to make sure I mention everybody. And we've had Caleb in the booth. Of course, Caleb's a totally different thank you as well. And who else have we had in the booth for the Wawa Cup Series this season? I know we've had at least somebody else. We had to have, but...
You can always check the group chat.
Yeah, I can't do that, can I? Because you've all been there. We had Hairgel for a race. A huge thanks to Hairgel as well for doing all the graphics this season. That was a huge help this season in putting all that together, and I'm very appreciative of what he's been able to do. And he was the only other guy, so we did in fact mention everyone. So Igor, Caleb, Chase Harris, Josh Williamson, Echo Evans Ross, Brendan Wilmington, Nathan Stapleton, Stuart Grant, Hairgel, Arvin Alonso all called races with me this season in the Wawa Cup Series. So huge thanks to all of them for joining us in the booth throughout the entire season. Like I said, a huge thanks to Hairgel for putting all the graphics together, all the graphics on the tracks as well. He did such an excellent job putting that aspect of it together. I have to give, of course, a huge shout out to Caleb Rose, who is, like I said, my right-hand man on this channel now. He has helped me build this channel to what it is right now. And if it weren't for him, I don't know how I would have pulled this off. He had a great season in the Haas IndyCar Series. He's currently doing the Lenovo Pro Series. He'll continue to do stuff for us next year. So happy to have him on board the channel and give him an opportunity to showcase his talents. And have to thank everybody else, all the other guys involved. I'm not going to mention everyone. There's so many people that are involved in this, but you know who you are, and I cannot thank you enough for everything. All right, enough wishy-washy talk. Here it is, the final point standings for the Wawa Cup Series in 2024. Grant Autosport with a clean sweep, the Drivers' Championship with Loudovick Charette, and the Owner's title. And a huge thanks to everyone once again for watching here today. Loudovick Charette is your 2024 Wawa Cup Series champion. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the final point standings after 30 races in the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. And on behalf of Edgar Bretto and Echo Evans Ross, I will have, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I just am. I'd lost it. I was doing so well, and right at the end. Thank you guys for watching once again. Here are the final point standings. Congratulations to Loudovick Charette, your 2024 Wawa Cup Series champion. And I will see you guys later.